All right, so we should be live now. I think. All right, we can go live on it on IG. All right, so we are live. Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone's doing. All right, so we should be live now. Now we have a playback. We can go live on IG. Damn. All right, so we are live. Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone's doing. So we should be live now. Playback. Yeah, let me see. So we are live. Hey, what's up, everyone? Oh, I think that's. Is that you? Do you have your volume?
Yeah. Do I mute it? What do I?
Yeah, yeah. Lower the volume.
Okay. You can still hear me and everything?
Is that you? Do you have your volume? Yeah, there's like a playback.
What do I? Yeah, I think it. Remember when for you to be able to hear me, I think you logged into StreamYard twice. Are you double?
No, that's me. All right, I think it was me. All right, so, all right, now we got it. All right.
Recording in progress.
Let's see.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
All right, so now we got it. Just yeah, that was me. Not bad. Yeah, Kyle's like, what's going on? All right, so I'm still trying to get used to this thing. All right, so we are live. So what's going on today is that today is going to be pretty special. As you can see right here, I have a special guest. She's one of my actually best clients here in Body HD Fitness, Erinkate M from Oxford, Maine, and a little background about her, and the reason I have her here is because she was able to lose over 100 pounds within a year. You know what I'm saying? And I know when it comes to weight loss, it can be very difficult, especially for someone who's been in the fitness industry for over a decade. I've seen people who are very successful, but I've seen people who also fail as well. And a lot of the stories that you usually hear, to be very honest with you, when it comes to testimonials, is all the success stories. But you never hear like the failures, because when it comes to weight loss, for a lot of people, it's a big struggle because they allow it's a big lifestyle change that is required, but also plays a significant mental fortitude to be able to stay consistent. And a lot of people don't have that, but Erinkate did. I mean, she does. You know, so this is why I have her here. So we're going to, ask a couple questions, go into deep psychology when it comes to weight loss, maybe some of the things that she actually struggled with before she even started this journey. So, Erinkate, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you today?
Everything's great. Everything's great. So, with that said, can you introduce yourself so everyone can know who you are? I know, like, I already gave it a proper introduction, but anything
Sure.
you want to add?
Yeah, so my name's Erinkate M. Like Corinne said, I live here in Maine. I'm 42, about to be 43 years old. I'm a single mom. My daughter is 9. So a little bit just background of me, like I'm a trained educator of my trade. So I was a public educator for about 12 years. And then just kind of like things in life happens, you decide you need a shift. And you briefly touched upon like that lifestyle and changing that. And this journey has been a big part of that. So since I've left the public education setting, and am like pursuing my own kind of personal passions with health and wellness, that you help reignite for me. So sometimes it's a journey. I don't think people understand where it's going to lead you, and the possibilities that can come of it. So.
All right, cool. And Erinkate, like, before you joined Body HD Fitness and the team, like, what was some of the things that you were struggling with the most?
So for me, this is a journey long before I even got to you and found you on Instagram. I was always an athlete growing up. Played 3 sports, varsity level sports, all through high school. Went to college, played basketball at the collegiate level, and then still was really into working out. I think it was more for vanity. I didn't really understand. Like I knew I liked being healthy and being strong, but it was more about for aesthetic reasons. And then life just kind of happened. I got pregnant, and that's when the significant weight gain happened. I gained over 100 pounds in my pregnancy. So that was, my daughter was born in 2014. And for the next probably almost 6 years, I kept, I think when the week before I gave birth, I was 308. I think that, and then for the next 6 years or so, I yo-yoed. I think I got maybe down to like 260, but I stayed right around 280. Still was kind of working out. I played football. You know, I learned at a young age to use my size to my advantage. I was very tall growing up and always strong. So I just like, oh, maybe I'll play football. Like I'm a strong person. This allows me to kind of get that team camaraderie again. And I feel, you know, it's okay that I'm this big because I'm playing football. But the size was affecting all aspects of my life. It was while I was playing football that I realized that I had some knee concerns. Obviously, that was because of the weight. I also realized like I just wasn't the mom that I wanted to be. When I envisioned who I wanted to, how I saw myself as a mom, it was way more involved than what I was actually physically able to do. And even mentally, I'd get excited. Okay, let's go play Barbies, or let's go play dollies, or let's go outside and play. And I'd last maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then my back would start to hurt, or different things happen. And so I think I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that this wasn't what I wanted. And I had some friends who had, actually it was a neighbor who was, I believe she was vegan, and had talked to me about being a raw vegan. So there were times like in the 6-year span where it was like, I'm yo-yoing back and forth. Like I can easily add or drop 10 pounds and nobody can notice it. Like my body can fluctuate like that. And I can do that. So nobody really noticed, you know, when it was just like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, now she's just a big person. So I think for me, that kind of a big turning point was realizing, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 40 and I am not healthy. I went to a wellness check, April 8th. I know this date, April 8th, 2020, went to a wellness check and I weighed in at, I think my pregnancy weight was like 304. And in 2020, I weighed 308. So I realized what am I doing? This is not what I want at all for my life or for anything. And that's when I decided, okay, I need to really focus. And I know I have the skill set to do this. Let me focus and get some weight off. So that's kind of how I started that journey. In terms of, at that point, I knew when I was like, oh, I'll try veganism, and I jumped right into raw veganism, that was intense. When they talk about people making that transition in your body detoxing, that is real and it is intense. Day 3 of that for me, I was like, I don't know how people can do this. My body, I know now, my body was getting all the toxins out, you know. And so I think having done that significantly, that time when I went back to, after that, I think I started to have some dairy again. But again, in 2020 was when I said, no, I'm going back full vegan. Let me figure out how to do this. I will focus in on plants, and we'll go from there. But then that's like anything, right? You can do things yourself. You can absolutely figure it out by yourself. It just happens quicker when you have somebody who knows what they're doing. I knew nothing about macros. I knew nothing about that. I knew I needed to get a lot of protein. I knew if I ate plants and, you know, fruits and vegetables, and a healthier lean protein, I could probably get weight off. So I really just kind of started doing some of the things that I knew. I've always loved lifting and working out. So that wasn't a problem for me to say, oh, I'm going to start going to the gym. I wasn't intimidated by that piece. But it still felt like I'm working out, but I'm not seeing these results like that I want to. The other reality is that I'm not in my 20s. I'm not even in my 30s anymore. So that was a difficult adjustment too. If you were an athlete growing up, you know, my body could snap back in like 2 weeks tops. Even in my 20s, it could snap back. Like I'd be like, oh, okay, I had a couple off days. I'll be fine by next week. That doesn't exist anymore. Now it takes months. And that's what it was. It was, I believe we connected finally in March. So for a couple months, I was able to get about 30 pounds off my body. But then I just felt like, okay, this is great, but why? It was plateauing. Just kind of, it felt like it stopped. And I didn't know what to do. And I've always thought like a woman should, I never wanted to be skinny. I think a woman should have curves and be strong and be, you know, somewhat muscular. So I knew I wanted that. And I liked how some things were coming into shape, but they were, you know, it's typical woman, right? It's like, oh, my abs. So I want, you know, I want the booty. I want the thighs. I want, you know, to target specific areas, but you got to adjust everything to maximize those targeted groups that you really want. You really can't, it's very difficult to just hone in on that one muscle group to the extent that people ideally want. It's very difficult. So, and that's when, and I think I talk about it, anybody that's seen my stuff or followed your stuff or my stuff on your, you know, account, it's steady state cardio. You made a video about steady state cardio. And I thought to myself, that makes sense to me because I am running. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. Why is my weight not coming off? But I didn't understand that the way I was training, especially with cardio, was actually hurting my body, was shooting up my cortisol, was not helping me. And so when I understood that, I was like, I need to learn more about that. And that's when, you know, this adventure between us has started, and it's been epic. It's been amazing. So that was kind of the start.
No, I told that's, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And like when you gain, I'm just going to go back for a little bit, but yeah. You said that you started gaining the weight when you got pregnant. Am I correct? Like, so
absolutely.
Before you were pregnant, you were like healthy, like you say, you were playing sports and all that stuff.
Yep. Before I got pregnant, I was working out probably regularly. So that's probably like 5 times a week. I would lift, rotate, you know, muscle groups, and do cardio. And I ran every day. And
I mean, what do you? I know. I mean, there's pregnancy weight, right? And like with me, like I've trained pregnant women myself, and we were able to maintain it in a healthy range. Like, what do you think made it get you gain like over 100 pounds through over 9 months?
Yeah, for me, honestly, I've always struggled with weight. Told you it would happen. I don't know if you can find a female who hasn't in their course of their life struggled being physically taller and stronger than most people, even like the boys, most of my life growing up, kind of like messes with your head a little bit, right? Especially with what society deems and everything else. So I maintained all that even after college, because I felt I thought I had to look that way. Probably wasn't actually healthy, but I liked the way I aesthetically looked, but it was hard to do that. So I think for me, I envisioned when I find like to be pregnant was kind of like a gloves are off, here you go. You get to go, because I've seen so many people, especially because I was like, I'm going to breastfeed. I'll burn all the calories. I don't care. That's what's going to happen. But none of that happened. I mean, listen, I ate mac and cheese. That was my staple go-to was mac and cheese and Ben and Jerry's. Like I ate that stuff all the time. I mean, it did get to the point, to the point where the doctors were concerned about my weight gain, because I gained a quick 60 in like a month or two. And they were like, whoa, gestational diabetes, all this other stuff. I mean, I had to there's a drink you take to make sure that you don't have gestational diabetes. They made me do it twice, because when it came back, there's no way you don't have this. And I'm like, I think I'm just gaining a lot of weight. I think I'm just being big. So I did rein it in a little bit. But yeah, I took that as my window of like, you get to eat and nobody's going to say that you're fat. Nobody's going to comment on how you look because you're pregnant. So society, it's okay to be bigger that way because you're pregnant and you're making life and you're doing that. But like you said, like there's a healthy way to do it. And I, in my mind, was thinking, well, my sister-in-law breastfed and lost 60 pounds. I know this person that breastfed and the weight came right off. I'm not worried about it. I put it on, I'll take it off. And then after, giving birth, it was a struggle. And my situation and the relationship and stuff didn't work out. I don't think people understand the extent that stress has on your body, physically, what it can do. I was producing milk, but I couldn't get my daughter to latch. So then all of a sudden it was like, now I'm not breastfeeding. I'm not even pumping to even have my body go do that because it's not working, because I'm too stressed and angst and everything. It didn't work. So the plan of like, enjoy yourself, enjoy your pregnancy, eat whatever you want to do, you'll lose the weight after, did not happen for me. My daughter didn't I think I did it for maybe 8 weeks. I think I tried my hardest. And after 8 weeks, finally, it was my mom that just said, honey, it's okay. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of this child. It's okay. Just get some formula, And so I think what I thought was going to happen to me in pregnancy and what I would be able to do and how it would naturally come off did not come off at all, And my daughter was only 8 pounds, My mom's like, "What, do you think you're going to have a 30-pound baby?" And I was like, "Well, I was hoping it'd be a little bit more than 8. That's a lot of weight I just gained, And then since everything else just didn't work out the way that I anticipated and thought it was going to work out, the weight was there. And then I had life to deal with. And that was raising a newborn by myself. So there was no time, like the idea of working out, that wasn't even a thought in my mind. It was complete survival mode.
Now I know you talked about this before, and it's a pretty sensitive topic, but like when you said that, like you had issues with your relationship during the, like, especially with the weight loss. I mean, can you go a little bit deeper into that? Like what exactly happened? Because I know you told me, but
Yeah. So so life happens, right? Full disclosure, I was on birth control. I was consistently taking a pill. Where I worked, they knew when it was 12 o'clock because my alarm went, like everything. I did all the things. It was a person I had been dating and, was involved in for, a significant amount of time. And then that happened. So for me, something that's, like kind of a little simple that my dad used to always talk about are these like little God grants, right? So sometimes when you're not quite sure, things just happen. And it's like, those are like, some people might call them little signs, whatever. My dad used to call them God grants. So steadily on birth control and still managed to get pregnant. Like this is my baby, So, and I was 32. So it's just like, this is the baby. It wasn't as well received or as, by my partner at the time. And it was like a roller coaster throughout the pregnancy of like, nope, we're going to do this. Nope, we're not together. We're not doing this. No, there's no communication. And that's kind of how the even after went. That I thought it was going to work out. I was living in Massachusetts at the time, and it just didn't. And my family's in Maine, so that's when I moved back. And again, like I said, you go into these different paths and these roles where it's like, this is survival. This is what I need to do right now. This is the focus. It would be selfish of me to take time to go work out to be better for myself. I have to do this. I'll figure that out eventually. I have to raise this human being. And then like 2020 was an epic year for so many reasons, but it was actually ironically in that time that we had briefly reconnected again. So I had kind of gone through my aha moment of like, I really need to kind of lose some weight. And then as we had reconnected, he flat out said to me, "I've never seen you this big." And then he said, "How did you let yourself get this big?" And for me, and it gets me every time, like my first thought was like, let myself? Like, granted, yes, I was the one that was feeding myself during my pregnancy, but like this wasn't a choice. Like my first thought was like, I didn't have a choice in this. There was a child involved. Somebody needs to raise and take care of this child. Like, I don't have the luxury of just waking up and deciding, oh, I think I'm going to go to the gym today. When do I want to go? We'll fit it in. Like everything was so scheduled for me because it doesn't function if it wasn't that way, especially as a single parent, right? Like you have to kind of stick to it because everything else can throw you off. And so for him, it was literally just like, let yourself get like this. And I thought to myself, if you can be so selfish to not even be engaged with this child, I can be selfish. I can be selfish I can do this too. Like I can be selfish. It's okay, and I will do this. And I think initially that, it might've been this whole like, kind of like a, I don't know what you can do in this thing, like who are you talking to, F you kind of situation. But that also like sparked me because it's like, yeah, it's not selfish for me to take time to work out so that I feel better, so that I mentally have like more clarity, so that I'm able to do the things that I want to do as a mom. And the minute I allowed myself to like recognize that it's not me being selfish, it's me helping my family You know, I think a lot of times women, especially like when they're involved like in a relationship or in a family, they do everything for everybody else first. Well, let me get this stuff done, this stuff done. Then if I have time, I'll do this. And with that comment and everything else, it clicked for me. And it was just kind of like, no, dude, I'm doing this first. I'm doing this first. And then everything else will fall into place. And once I kind of had that mindset shift, the working out didn't become the chore. That was like my gift to myself. That was the time that I had for myself to be able to like recharge, kind of get my mind right and feel good about myself and the effort that I'm making. And even though you can mentally make that shift, then when you physically go, but now like, so mentally I was there, but I was in this body that couldn't move. The first workout you ever gave me was like basic, like 20-second intervals of like body movements. I couldn't sprint. And actually, I don't think this one is 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds things. I couldn't sprint for 20 seconds. Like I couldn't even do any of that stuff. And that's where I think that like mental toughness, and that's what comes in, because once your mind gets there and you're like, yeah, I can absolutely do this and I'm going to do this. Then you have to be mentally tough to then, okay, now the next step is my body is going to tell me that you can't do this. And then my brain's going to be like, we're tired. We can't move. We can't do that stuff anymore. This hurts. And you still have to be able to like push through that. And there were times, especially in the beginning, when like that comment drove me, because it was like, nope, this is exactly what I'm doing. Why are you doing this? Because of my health and my family. Like I'm doing this for her ultimately. So the reason that I thought in the beginning was why I couldn't find time to work out, why I couldn't motivate, why I didn't want to eat healthy or make strong choices all the time, was now the impact reason of like, no, this is exactly why you have to go and do this stuff.
Okay. And so just recap, just for people that's showing up, like, so pretty much gaining weight during pregnancy, then when it was time to lose the weight, because you went to the doctors, they had concerns with the weight gain, you tried different diets, and then the ex, I don't know what we could call him, the significant other ex, we
won't say what we'll call him. Okay, no kidding.
Yeah. he made that comment to you, that derogatory comment, and that was the thing that was like, was that a turning point when you were like, all right, I'm going to get help, I'm going to like really take this to a different approach, I need to like, was that the turning point?
Yeah, that was my go time. Like I said, I wrapped my head around the idea of, okay, you're turning 40, time to get healthy, time to do some things better, make some changes. And I think I was that's kind of where I was at. So I probably would have made some mild changes and stuff, but that was oh no. Now we're going from like, I want to start working out again and watch what I eat, to it's go time. Like we're absolutely doing this. So yeah.
Now with that said, I mean, like, I know like that's a strong why, because it's like, it's like almost saying it's almost someone saying like you can't do it.
Absolutely.
Sometimes negativity can be like the biggest fuel for some people. But what do you think for others that struggle with weight loss? Like, not they have a lot of weight on them, they have health related issues, but what do you think, why these people are failing? Like, do you have an idea?
I think people don't understand, because everybody throws it around now, right? Like now it's like, well, what's your why? What are you passionate about? What drive? Like all this stuff. And I mean, when we first had our first, and it might have happened like in that, in one of our like first or second conversations, right? Getting to know, to like see if we were even a fit. I mean, I came in like, I want to feel good when I'm naked. I want to think about dating again. I want to have a Serena body. I want that booty. I want those arms. I want, you know what I mean? And so you're like, okay, that's great. So this is, and how would that feel? Like the more you dug into it, and then understanding that like there's these vanity things, it's vanity, right? Especially in our society. You want to look a certain way. But when you really break down what actually drives you, everybody has like, it's like you got to get to that emotion behind it, right? And that's like, that's once you genuinely tap into that, like really, really tap into what is your purpose, then nothing else matters. That becomes, you become so tunnel vision, and it's hard, right? Because you can, I almost think, this has been my experience, that when your why is greater than yourself, you will push yourself more. I can manipulate myself all the time. I can convince myself, oh, well, no, well, I know I'm supposed to do an hour, but 45 minutes is okay. We're going to go walk around the mall later, so that's kind of cardio. Okay, like I can do that to myself. I can't rob my child of opportunities and experiences and things with me. That I can't do. So I think what happens is that it's easy to just be like, oh, I want to be healthy. But why do you want to be healthy? Well, because I want to, be able to enjoy life. What does that enjoyable life look like to you? When people start to when you can actually start to see what you envision for yourself and what you actually want, and through working with you and other people that I've met along this journey, and been a part of, it's like at some point in our lives, we forget that it doesn't life really doesn't happen in your 20s and 30s. You learn a lot in your 20s and 30s. And then it's like, for me, each decade has gotten better. And I think people just, they lose sight of this bigger picture of why they want to do things. They lose their sight of their ability to dream again and think about what they actually want in life. And they just lose sight of that. And so I think really, really understanding exactly why you're doing something. And once you really lock into that, then it's like, then you can create that tunnel vision, because I had to switch everything up. I was with the teachers on Friday after school, drinking at the local bar. I was on the weekends getting together with family and friends and drinking and doing different things. We were, in the break room, there's this sack, bringing this stuff, eating this stuff. Like I had to switch everything. I wasn't hanging out with that. So that meant that like people then all of a sudden weren't including me in things because they were just getting together to complain about stuff and drink. And my mind wasn't there. I was like looking for, I saw what I wanted for my future and the lifestyle I wanted to create. And once you really see that, then you're able to really lock in and focus in on that. So I think when you recognize why, not what anybody else says, you as a person, what do you actually want? And it's very challenging to do that for yourself. And then it's even more challenging to stick with that, because a lot of people won't get it. They think that this is how you're supposed to live. Nope. As you get older, your body shuts down. As you get older, you get sick. As you get older, you don't move as well. As you get older, no. Oh, I'm a mom now, so now I can't do that. You can still do all the same things, right? Like you might have to get creative about it, but there's always choices. So I could choose to go and hang out, and I could still go and hang out and not drink. Or I could say, nope, my daughter's still at daycare till 5 o'clock. So I'm going to go get my workout in after school real quick. You guys go drink, have a couple, enjoy it. And I'm going to still stay on my path. Yeah.
So pretty much you're saying that like when it comes to your goals, I mean, your why has to be extremely important. But number two, there has to be a sacrifice when it comes to these goals, because Absolutely. If not, then your sacrifices. It's a saying that I always heard. It's like it's either you sacrifice your goals, or your goal will be the sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, cool. And now, how long did it take you to lose over that 100 pounds? Like, I know we talked a lot about the pain. Like, we need to
right, yeah. So I think I started working with you in March of 21, and at that point, I think I was like 275 or 273. Like, I was right up in the high 270s, and then I think it was just, and then we did that show in April. So it was less than I think it was just under less than a year where we were able to get the like magical 100. But the vegan show that we just did in April, I mean, at that point, that weigh-in, that was 142 pounds. And I think the other thing, kind of tying back to a little bit to the why, when you foster what your goals are specifically, nothing else matters. So I lost 100 pounds, over 100 pounds, right? Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you look great, you look this. And then people didn't understand in the summer how I looked bigger than that. Like, they're like, well, wait a minute, what's going on now? You look like is this like some people, oh, is this an old picture? Is this no, because my process now was, I didn't know this was going to happen. I wanted to lose the weight. You inspired me to do the transformation show, and it's like, boom, I did that show, and I was like, I think I love this. This is what I want. So had no intentions of any of this, but then it was like, okay, so, and then I was just saying to you, okay, when we're going to build, and you're like, we are in a deficit. You're not building. Like, that's not what we're doing right now. We got to get this weight off. And so I think if I wasn't as focused on like what I saw for myself initially, and the path that I wanted to be on and my why, and then understanding that within that, Amaya still stays my ultimate why, always, forever. My little why specifically has kind of shifted in terms of like my motivation, because I wanted to get the weight off. Now it's like, now let's get big and strong. And I think, and again, if I was just about the vanity, I would have stopped this. We would have done our 16 weeks or whatever, we would have done maybe a couple sessions and have been like, okay, great, I'm done. Probably would have gained 20 pounds back and be, kind of hovering around right around 200 pounds or doing whatever, But now, for me now, it's this journey of like bodybuilding and how strong can I get? How can I manipulate and build my body? I can still stay focused and it doesn't bother me. People are like, oh, wow, like you look like a little bit bigger, or is this an old picture, this and that, because that my journey isn't their journey. What I envision for myself and what I've set out for myself isn't that. And that's been sometimes of a bit of a, kind of messes with my head a little bit, especially, having a history of, unhealthy relationships with food and different things like that. But again, when you really just lock into what it is that you set out to do, it doesn't, the outside stuff is just noise, because you slowly start to find people that really get what you're doing, or they're just excited to see you win. So they want to be involved in it. It's like they kind of want to catch that energy of like, how do you stay so focused? How do you stay disciplined when you get sick or she's sick or you just don't feel like working out? Like, I'm not a machine. It's not like I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't, yes, there's mornings where I'm like, oh, I needed that, Then there's mornings where I'm like, I don't want to do this at all. But you still got to do it,
Mm-hmm. Now, with that said, like during this year, because a year's a long time, to be consistent, be following a plan. Was there like ups and downs? Like, I know you said like, it was hard, but was there some times that you felt like quitting, or there was days that you were just like, because you were just so hyper focused, and were there people in your family that like, or even your friends or peers that said like, oh, you're getting too skinny? Like, did you feel any resentment from any of that?
I don't know. Maybe not so much resentment. I think I think in the beginning I was like, oh wow, you're losing all weight and you're doing this. And again, my goal was never to be skinny. So, and then sometimes, and especially if you are a bodybuilder or training and you're trying to get strong and muscular and cut, when someone's like, oh, you look skinny. And I think as a female, I'm supposed to be like, oh, thank you. And I was like, oh, crap. Like, I don't want to just be a skinny girl. I want to be a strong, muscular girl. The initial roadblock was, like I said, I couldn't physically run for 15, 20 seconds. Like, I couldn't do it. That makes me think another, in the course of this whole journey thing, not so much with you, but beforehand, another aha moment for me was like to get together. Amaya was probably 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. We had a long driveway, and in Maine, it's like a back road, windy road. She thought we were playing, and she was close to the road, and she was right by the road. And I was like, no, you need to come back here. She like does a little smile and then darts out into the road and runs out into the road. And I remember trying to, like in my mind, like running as fast, physically trying to run as fast as I could. And it just wasn't fast enough to get there. And I mean, I'm sure it was probably like in my mind, I'm like, I'm sprinting. I am going for it. And I was probably like a hippo running, right? Like I was just like slow moving. Like that was another moment where I was like, you gotta just get this stuff together. So sorry, now I forgot. I went off on that tangent. I was like, oh, that was a good story too. That another like moment, because I think sometimes life happens and you're just like, can I save my child? Can I take care and provide for my child? And sometimes that means physically, and physically I couldn't. So the initial running was a setback. Just being sore all the time, but knowing it was that good sore got me through. And then I think it was the first summer, I had an injury. I don't even remember what I did. And it was like a groin injury, or maybe it was even like my hip flexor. I can't remember. And I remember being so nervous to tell you. I didn't want to let you down. And you're like, this is a part of the process. This is a part of the journey. And you just simply said, it's okay. Like, don't lift your legs for 2 days. Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's okay to take a break. Yeah,
absolutely. Right. Like, and I almost needed that from you, you know? And then, so you did that. So there was that injury. And then when we cut again, like that goes away. We found out this summer that every time I'm able to lift heavy, that injury comes back. So I've had to do PT for that. There's been times with this injury where I also coach. This season I was coaching and my leg just gave out. Flat out gave out. I dropped to the, like, on the ground, onto the field, and the girls were like, "Coach, what just happened?" And I was like, "My leg just gave out." Like, and knowing how I can kind of manipulate or take care of it, tend to your body so that you're still able to do workouts. People get sick. There are times when I travel, right? So when we went to California last summer, or 2 summers ago, like I made sure my friend, I'm like, "Where's the gym by you? I'm going to get a 7-day membership." We go to New Jersey. My cousin has a gym membership. You need to sign me in for the couple days that I'm there. So there can always be like roadblocks and excuses and things like that that can happen. But I think, again, you have to focus in on what it is, what's the end result that you want, or why do you keep doing this? And for me now, I mean, now it's even bigger to the point where it's like, yeah, I want to be in my 80s still living life. Like, I don't want to be alive. I want to be living. And that's why I don't think people understand with this process of, the lifestyle changes in health and wellness.
And what's some of the benefits that you received since you lost the 100 pounds?
Oh, I feel amazing. I am super strong, and people don't, I think people, they know that I'm strong, but I don't think they really get to till I physically will do something and they'll think, holy cow, how did you just do that? And I just said, I'm like, well, I'm really, really strong right now. You know, I just have a lot of energy. I'm usually a happy, upbeat type of person most of the time anyway. And working out just continues, like, it makes it even more so, right? The endorphins are like all over the place. And I now know for me that when I don't do that, I don't have the mental clarity that I normally do. It's a part of my life now, so that when I don't work out, I don't feel good about the day as a whole. And that's what I need. And even just figuring out timing of it, right? I don't like waking up early all the time, but I know for me, if I don't work out first thing, it doesn't really set up, I still have a good day, but it doesn't set up the day as well as it can be, because I started with the workout, took care of me first, and then I can, be mom, be whatever, do whatever else I need to do.
And if there was someone on the fence about, because the New Year's is coming up, and like a lot of people has their New Year's resolutions and stuff like that coming up. What type of advice would you tell them right now?
I think it's important to dream big. I think set your goals and set everything high, but then you also need to be realistic to your lifestyle and what you can actually, and how you can start to make some of those shifts. Some of the simplest things, people, especially with New Year's, I'm going to go to the gym every day, I'm going to go do that. You're going to hit it hard for about 4 days, and your body's going to be sore. You're going to feel hungry. You're going to feel, all kinds of things, and then you'll stop it. You'll take and you'll take maybe 1, maybe 2 days off, and then you won't go back to it. So I think sometimes people, because we want those results, so it's like we got to go hard from the gate. You don't necessarily have to go hard. I think if people focus in on drinking enough water each day, getting proper sleep, even just those first 2 things, it's like, why don't you focus on doing that for 2 weeks first, and you'll see the change in your body. And then depending upon if they're like fully transitioning or just what that journey is looking like, just replace, maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week, you're not eating meat, like transition slowly that way. And can stick to stuff that you like. If you like, meatball subs, or if you like stuff like you can find these other options that are still vegan, and you're still not feeling like you're missing out on different things. Incorporating, fruits and veggies a little bit in the beginning too. I think people try to go, well, I did it too. I was like, I'll try veganism. Oh, there's a raw veganism. Let's go. Right. And it was crazy. Like that was crazy. Like maybe when I'm older, I may be able to get back to that, but that was a lot. And I think sometimes people get really overwhelmed. They're like, I don't want to eat salads. I don't like tofu. Vegan food, and just like anything with any other food, you spice it, or you should be spicing it. So it's the same thing with some of these other foods. So I think dream big, but also set realistic goals each week. This first week, I'm getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and I'm drinking a gallon of water every day. That's what I'm doing this first week of January. And I think once you set them and start to achieve those little goals, that's when you start to catch it. It's like a snowball of motivation. And then it just kind of keeps going. And that's how you're able to stay consistent. People want to go hard, and I'm guilty of it too. You want to go hard, fast, and then your body's like, my body's like, we haven't done this in 6 years, and now you're trying to do this, So, it's like, you better back up a little bit. So I think it's understanding it's not that you're still being consistent. Like that's probably something that I've learned the most of all this stuff too, right? Mm-hmm. Anybody can show up for a week, right? Can you show up, like you said, can you show up for a year? Can you show up? I hit 900 workouts yesterday. Can you show up 900 down? You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that people don't get. And those are the things that, in our society, not to be on a soapbox right now, but like, it's the clout, it's the results. And it's like, no. It's in the everyday process, because what I did for myself in fitness now happens in all aspects of my life. I don't need that instant gratification. I know, okay, today wasn't a good day, but I'm building. Today was okay, but I'm building. Today was amazing. I don't stop. Tomorrow's still tomorrow, and I still got to build and do everything else. So it's, yeah.
And do you think people should like get professional coaching in the beginning, like right off the rip, or maybe they should take it very slow, like you said?
I think you need to do what works for you. Mm-hmm. So I understand the shortcomings of people financially, right? Like I get that. So I think if you can dedicate, some time where you're able to do that and commit to that, that's fine, but you will plateau. You will get to that point where you'll be successful. You'll switch up some stuff. Maybe you even get 30 to 40 pounds off by yourself, but then you will plateau, and you might gain maybe 10 or 15 of that back, right? Hiring a professional allows you, like, when you find a coach like Carissa, right? Like, you don't just say, oh, here's your meal plan, here's your workout, talk to you next week. You have these classes, you teach people. Everything that I now know is because you taught it to me. So that you give people the tools to be successful and achieve goals in the program, but you also teach them and provide the sense of value so that it's even beyond being in your program or not being like physically working out with you and stuff. So I think if you find that you're able to kind of motivate, sure, see what you can do, but you will absolutely need professional help at some point in this journey, depending upon where you want to go. And sometimes the people that are like, oh, it's just like 10 or 15 pounds, it's probably all I need to lose. That will probably be the hardest 10 or 15 pounds to lose. Me being really overweight, 50 pounds came off. I mean, what did we do? 50 pounds, almost 60 pounds in the first 4 weeks. We did that quickly. Weight came off fast. As you start to do that, it's the 20 pounds of 10 or 15 pounds here or there that can be really, really difficult.
Yeah, it's when you start getting low to like the lowest weight. That's when it starts getting harder. Absolutely. So it's one of the reasons why I even say, like, it's good to try to stay consistent, because I do teach everyone in the program like what they need to do, and I don't expect everyone to be like 100% perfect right off the rip, like in the beginning. Like, I understand there's a lot of changes that happens, and I'm not that type of coach that like I'm going to hang you or crucify you because like you missed a day
right
on your meal plan, or you forgot to work out that day or whatever. Because right. I understand there's a lot of changes, and that's why I always preach about lifestyle changes. And I think sometimes people get a little misconstrued because when they find out I'm in the military, they're like, oh man, like he's going to be like a drill sergeant and stuff. And I'm like, bro, that was like 15 years ago, man.
Right.
It's like a long time, it's a long time. And the more and I've been doing fitness like for over a decade. So like the longer you do fitness, like you start understanding people's psychology when it comes to weight loss, or when it just comes to achieving any type of fitness goals, you start to understand what people go through, you know.
Right.
And you have to kind of be a little bit more relaxed, because I'll tell you this, like if you met me when I first got out of the military, oh yeah, like I want to ring you up, you know, like.
But what's good, but I think what is a mark of an amazing coach, right? Because I coach, you know, I mean, sport, like different athletics and stuff like that, but is you recognize your people and you play to their strengths.
Yeah.
So I know that the way that you coach me, and because we've learned about each other over this, you know, journey, that, you know, I am the type of person that I don't need oh, it's okay, EK, you tried. You went out there, you tried. Okay, well, just keep going with that weight. That's great. You're flat out like, EK, you're not lifting, like, this really isn't a lot of weight though. That's why you're not gaining. You're not pushing yourself. Are you able to do this? And I'm like, oh, and you're like, try and do it, right? Like,
yeah, always try to
give
like a strategy. Always give a strategy, and like you said, like I always ask. I'm like, I always say, like I make suggestions. I'm like, look, I mean, if we did something like this, are you able to do that? Because I even done it with students who, let's say, they join the program, they can't do 5 days out of the week. Right. And I just tell them, like, all right, I mean, that's totally fine. You don't have to quit, you know, don't like, don't push yourself down like that. But if we could do maybe like 3 times a week, can we do that? Absolutely. Oh, I don't have an hour. Can you do minutes? No.
I don't know if you were.
Can you do a walk? You know, like,
right. Well, and that's another thing. Like, you know what I mean? Giving more flowers, right? Like when I forget what it was. So maybe a year and a half or so ago, like I was transitioning jobs. I got a different teaching gig, so I was moving. I initially was like, oh, I'll just commute. No big deal. We'll make it work. In a year from now, that commuting time was almost a total 2 hours, because Maine's rural, takes a while to get to places. And we got to the point where I said to you, I can't work out. And you flat out said, what can you give me? I said, I don't know, half hour. He's like, good. You're going to do a 25-minute workout. You're just going to do that every day. Once you figure out, do you have access to a gym at your school now? Can you come back home and work out? What are you going to do with the mind? Like, once you figure this out, that's what we're going to do. But we're not stopping. We're going to do that. Like, and that's what was so great, you know, about you and your ability to really take heed to what your client, what they want and their circumstance. So there are times where I was like, okay, I mean, I don't know if you remember when I showed you the video of the 1970 Universal that was at my new junior high. And I was like, I got this and some dumbbells and my weights at home. What are we doing? And you created a workout based on that, because you saw my focus. You knew what I wanted. This was a circumstance right now. So you adjusted and we adjusted, right? Like you said, like you got to keep it moving. It's never going to be perfect, but you still got to keep doing the right things. And if I didn't have like that professional guidance at that time, I would have stopped. I definitely would have had a lot of days off during that.
Absolutely. Because I believe in the winner's mindset. It's just like, if there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you just have to be willing to put in the work. It doesn't matter how small or how big, because at the end of the day, it's all going to multiply and compound. You know, absolutely. So and the only thing I try to tell people is the realistic. I'll be really transparent with you. I'm like, look, I mean, everything's going to compound, but you get as much as you put in. So it's like, there's going to be days that maybe you have to slow down. You know, maybe things get busy, especially during the holidays. I'm like, holidays, maybe there's going to be a lot of traveling. I've had students who their work, their personal jobs increased during the holidays.
Yeah.
And we had to slow things down where it was just doing cardio. And I was like, well, can you at least get your meals in? And they're like, I can do that. And they still lost weight. I mean, they lost maybe 2-3 pounds that month, but it was still a win. You know, It shows like how much you put in. And now their jobs are like, going into the new year, they're like, all right, things are getting back to normal. I'm going to have my life again. I'm going to have a lot of time available. And then we can put it back to full throttle. But I always say it's always best to just not give up and just try to figure out like what the solution that we can do to move forward. But with that said, thank you, Erinkate, for sharing your story. Right now, I believe the best thing to do, because we don't have a lot of time, is just go into some Q&A. So we have Emily White, who said, how do you deal with not feeling full and stay satisfied with certain vegan foods than binging later?
That has to do, for me, it's been a lot of hydration. I drink a lot of water all the time. In the beginning was probably when I recall feeling the most hungry, was because I had shifted everything. But when you eat a lot, like a fibrous diet, you're going to feel full longer. So since everything was around, plant, a lot of vegetables, and then consuming that much water, you felt full. And now, were there nights that I still kind of felt hungry? Yeah. But I was so physically exhausted anyway. It's just like, go to sleep. And sometimes that's what I did. I would drink sometimes like carbonated water, different flavors. Like sometimes that would kind of be a treat. But the hydration is what the key is. If you're eating fibrous, healthy food and you drink enough water, you really don't get that hungry, and your body adjusts quickly. I don't think people realize how quickly you will adjust.
Absolutely. And I like to add on to that too. It's like a lot of the foods that I give to the students when they're in the deficit is a high fibrous diet, like Erinkate said. But a lot of these foods is going to be low calorie foods, like
Right.
vegetables, a lot of berries, things like that, because we're trying to focus on a lot of volume. And then what I also, I don't really push it extremely, but I do tell the students to focus on restricted time eating. Some people want to call it intermittent fasting. I call it restricted time eating just because it's not so. I don't give a specific time limit, like you have to do 13 hours fast. I just tell people, like, try get your meals in as earliest as possible. So like for myself, I try to get my last meal in by 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, because I go to bed like at 8 or 9, and then after that, try not having anything in your belly, because this is what's going to really ramp up your metabolism. If you eat food before you go to bed, and then your food isn't digested properly when you're sleeping on a full stomach, and the majority of it will transfer into fat, and you're going to have not really you're not going to have a good night's sleep at all as well. So I do tell the students to try to spread out their meals when it comes to nighttime, and when it comes to their waking hours, when not to eat, just to help aid with the weight loss as well. Um, and then we also have Dan. It's not so much of a question. I want to say it anyway, but it's like, I need more food choices. These beans are making me fart all day. I don't want to use Beyond all day. What can I do? I can answer that. So, first of all, you have to understand that when it comes to the beans, beans are high in fiber. Okay, and if you're passing gas a lot, this is mostly because your body, your gut microbiome is actually weak. Like because what's happening, and it's actually a natural process, because the fiber is breaking down and it's creating nitric oxide within the body, which is creating gas. This is normal. This usually happens because you're probably not consuming a lot of high fibrous foods, so you're passing gas a lot. And to reduce that, maybe lower the fiber a little bit, and then slowly start increasing it, maybe every 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. But you have to remember as well, passing gas is normal. So like, you have to know like what is, because maybe you never farted before, maybe once or twice a day, and now you're farting a little bit more and you're feeling embarrassed. But you have to kind of understand it is kind of normal. You know what I'm saying? So if you're coming from like once or twice and maybe it's increased a little bit and you just feel a little embarrassed, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. This is just fiber being broken down. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like someone who complains about they have to poop more than one time a day, just because for a long time they never pooped. I've heard stories of individuals who never took a shit, freaking the whole entire day, and it's like every other day, and now they're thinking like, is it normal to take a shit every day? I'm like, you should be taking a shit more than one time a day.
Right.
You're doing it like at least 2, 3 times a day. That's actually a healthy sign of a healthy gut. and a fast metabolism. If you're only doing it, I mean, minimum is one, but anything beyond that is actually a good thing, believe it or not. Like look at your dog, like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like your dog takes a shit, like, every time I take a walk, like three times a day. I mean, I don't know, when I had a pet, it was always taking a crap, right? So like if your animal is taking craps multiple times a day and you're only taking it one or less, there's a big sign, because that means you're very backed up and you literally are full of shit. You got you got poop all stuck up in that colon. And then you have to kind of think to yourself, how does colon cancer really come into existence? Because you got shit in you. You're full of shit. That's why. So just kind of remember that. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think
Help.
people also, I think, need to listen to your body. I don't eat a lot of beans because that happens to me, and I'm healthy, and I trust my system and everything else. Like, I think you also need to figure out what works for your body. Sometimes if I eat tofu every day, I can have extra gas. If I don't want that extra gas, then you listen to your body too. Like, at some point, common sense has to come in too.
And as well, I mean, if your fart's really stinky, they got underpants and shit that has the little filters. So like,
You would know about that. Like, you would know about that. Next question.
Good get that. And then also, we have another one that says, any recommendations on a clean vegan protein? Yeah, so a good clean vegan protein right now is the Live Body. Here you go. Live Body, Live Vegan Protein. They have a lot of different flavors. This is the one I'm using majority of the time. If you look in the back, they have a lot of they have like a green blend inside. So you get like organic kale, some wheatgrass, some cool things in there. You get your berry blend, and then some digestive enzymes. And digestive enzymes is really good. Going back to the passing gas, right? If you have a lot of passing gas, the enzymes can help with that, help eliminate some of that as well, break down that food a lot better. It does have about 2 grams of dietary fiber, which is good, 4 grams of carbs. So the fiber and carb ratio is really good. Only 3 grams of fat and about 24 grams of protein. And it has a lot of micronutrients in it as well, about 60% of your iron. You get some magnesium, some potassium, calcium, and some vitamin C. So it does have micronutrients in it as well. I highly recommend using this. You can actually cook with it as well. That's another great thing about the Live Body, Live Vegan Protein. And if you want to use my discount code, it is KS Body. And then just go to livebody.com, use that discount code, and you get, I believe you get somewhere around 20% off on that. So it's KS, like Corinne Sutton, or Kilo Sierra, KS Body. And you'll get 20% off on livebody.com. All right. And that's on any Live Body products. So you could definitely use that. Hopefully that helps. And let me see. And how, okay, Achia Ake Alpha, I believe, says, in how much time I can expect to lose 100 pounds healthy? Erinkate, I mean, you can answer that one.
Yeah, I think with a proper coach and dedication, you can. I mean, if you're serious, I think you could lose 100 pounds in 8 months, right? Like, and like I said, depending upon, I mean, when you have significant weight, you will probably have the first couple months where you're dropping 20, 30 pounds. And then as you start to get closer to that goal, that's when it takes longer. I think I never thought I'm going to lose. I think I thought to myself, if I get back to 200 pounds, that's 100 pounds. Like, that's a lot of weight. I don't think I ever thought of like, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I thought I need to get healthy and feel good. That's what I thought. The result of that was a significant weight loss because I was significantly large. So I think, it depends on you personally and your level of dedication, the training that you have readily available. Can people do it by themselves? Absolutely. I think it would take extreme discipline, and it would take a longer time that way. If this has been something that you are really, been considering and that you need to do for your health, for your family, for whatever those reasons are, I would absolutely suggest getting a trainer so you can get to those results faster. Or a trainer will get you there sooner.
Absolutely, and I agree with Erinkate. I mean, I would say somewhere around 8 months to a year to lose 100 pounds healthy. But at the same time, this is like someone who's very consistent, because there's going to be, I always tell people this. There's everyone in their mind always thinks that, all right, 2020, 2024 is going to be the year. I want to go ahead and lose this 100 pounds as fast as possible, but we're not psychics. Sometimes things happen, and when those things happen, that's when the challenge really begins. It's not when everything is easy and everything's perfect. And that's why I always try to tell a lot of students who into my program, I'm like, it's not when the road is clear, is when you're actually when you're winning in your goals. It's when those challenges come up. Vacation, when you get sick, when you're not motivated, death in family, like these are the challenges that, maybe you lost your job or financial problems, like you got to move, like these are the challenges that's thrown to you. And that's what's going to really determine how fast you lose it. Because, I always tell everyone, when those challenges really happen, I always say that's when, whatever you believe in, God, yourself, the universe, whatever you believe in, is trying to see how serious you really want it. How bad do you really want it? And this is when it really shows if someone's really serious or they're not. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me, I even have my challenges as well. And I stick to it no matter what, because it all depends on the why. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, I believe that is it. So we're going to go ahead and let everyone go. So hopefully, wait, there's one more question. So there are a lot of trainers out there. What do I look in for a good trainer? I'm based in the Netherlands. So I'll just answer this one before we let everyone go. But when to look for a good trainer, I always say, first thing is like definitely, do some research. See if they have any type of educational background. Like myself, I have a degree in exercise science, and also I'm a sport nutritionist as well, and a master fitness trainer. Look at how long they've been training. Even their experience level is going to really determine as well. But remember, it's just like anywhere else. Someone who's very experienced, it might be a little bit more pricier than someone who's novice. But someone who's more experienced, they're going to guarantee to get you there. It's almost like if I was getting surgery, I don't want the guy who just got out of college. I want the guy who's been doing it for a couple of years, like at least like 10, 15 years. We kind of like, all right, he worked on a lot of those individuals. And then also look at testimonials. That's going to be another thing as well. Testimonials is going to give the credibility. So if you see someone that has a lot of testimonials, that's what's going to actually, give you that credibility that they know what they're doing. And lastly, find a coach that actually fits within your mythology. All right, like that's going to be the biggest part, because I've seen a lot. I've seen students who actually or clients that actually came from other programs that they had no reason of working with that coach. Like I'm vegan, you know what I'm saying, and someone who's vegan as well would go work out with a coach who's not vegan. It's like the mythology is not going to be there. And the number one thing they usually tell me, and it's not even new to me when I hear it, they're like, oh, they were trying to push like animal byproducts and said like, I can't lose weight unless I'm eating eggs or fish and chicken. You can't lose weight being vegan. It's like, Of course they're going to say that because they don't believe in that myth, even if they told you that in the beginning, or if they and most of the time they usually say, well, we could try it out. And it's like, if they're saying try, I don't want someone who's trying. I'm not paying hardworking money to be a guinea pig. You know, if you're going to be a guinea pig on me, then do that shit for free. Yeah. Like test it out or give me a significant discount. But I'm not paying full price to be a guinea pig. Work with someone who actually lived the lifestyle that you follow. And that's with anything. Like, I'm not even trying to push the whole vegan agenda. Like, if you're someone who's keto, why the hell are you going to go with someone who's vegan? Go someone who does keto.
Right.
You know, same thing with paleo or intermittent fasting or whatever diet it is. You know, because whatever diet you're going to choose, that's the lifestyle you have to inhibit. You know, and that's what I will say, because some people want to misconstrue that with diets is only temporary. Don't do a diet that's temporary. Do a diet that's going to really reflect your lifestyle, because you have to adapt it. That's what's going to give you the best results. That's how you're going to learn through that individual, and that's who's going to be your best coach overall. All right. But with that said, I'll go ahead and let everyone go. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if y'all want to see more videos or lives like this, and I'll bring other students around and we could do like interviews. Erinkate, thank you for showing up and explaining your story and sharing your testimonial.
Hopefully, and everybody can kind of follow this journey that I am on towards pro. I'm working with Corinne to try to get my pro card. EKPB Fit Coach on Instagram, and just kind of watch this process and this transformation that's now taken over all aspects of my life in a positive, uplifting way that now I want to share with the world. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Follow her journey. We're getting ready for her next show in 2024. Her show's coming up in March, right? March, April?
Yep. March 23rd.
The Shamrock Classic, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. But with that said, I'll go ahead and let everyone go, and peace out.
Bye.